Happy Monday. Welcome back. I'm so glad you're with me again today. My name is Rita Ernst. I am the author of Show Up Positive and contributing author to Culture Impact Strategies for Creating World-Changing Workplaces. And this is the Monday Minute. And you did it. You're here. Thank you so much for being with me. If you're joining me live, feel free to hop into the comments and say hello. And if you're doing the replay, thank you so much. Hashtag replay, let me know you were here. This is our guide. We are talking about our culture repair sparks, how you can be the culture hero in your organization by cultivating more positive experiences every day. And this is our word today. And again, next week, we're going to talk about forgiveness, forgiving. Now, forgiveness requires a couple of things. It requires some compassion from you because, sometimes our inner critic is very judgy of other people. We have a lot of expectations of other people and we judge others and our circumstances harshly. And sometimes we have to have a little bit of grace and compassion for ourselves and for others. So we're going to talk about mindset today. Let's talk about some of the mental things that you need to really focus on to make true forgiveness a practice. Now, forgiveness does not mean that we are letting people off the hook for bad behavior or that we're accepting of bad behavior that happens around us. That is not the case at all. That is often what trips us up around forgiveness, is we think forgiveness is about other people, and it's not. Forgiveness is about you. Forgiveness is about releasing yourself. So I shared from the World Happiness Summit last year, Fred Luskin's talk, and he is the author of, he's at Stanford University, of all the research in forgiveness and has done amazing stuff around this. And this was the really key thing that he said to us this year at Wahasu 2024 about forgiveness. And I have to share it with you because it is so powerful. So do you have your pen and paper ready? You need to write this down so you are holding on to this thought. Are you ready? Forgiveness is about releasing your expectation that something will or could or should be different. Letting it go. That's what when we stumble and trip over all the time. When we get stuck and we're not forgiving, when we're letting resentment and stuff build, we are just playing over in our head how things ought to be, the way they should be. So when we get stuck in that conversation, we just need to let that go. When we release ourselves from this expectation that the world, that others will be different, we can allow forgiveness to come into our lives. And what Fred's research shows is that people who go through intentional practices of learning to forgive have healthier, happier lives. That probably doesn't surprise you. It certainly doesn't surprise me. So lesson number one, release the expectation that something is going to be different or could be different or should be different. That's step one of getting in the right mindset about forgiveness. Number two is embracing the fact that forgiveness is about you. It is about reclaiming your happiness. Otherwise, you are dragging all that resentment, anger, frustration, all of the hurt that you feel, you are dragging it behind you like a really heavy sack of bricks that you can put down. Put down the bricks, releasing yourself from having to carry all of that with you. That is about you. It doesn't matter if you're waiting for somebody else to make an apology to you or make something right. You are giving them way too much control over you and your happiness. Take that control back. Put down the bricks. Don't keep dragging them behind you. This is a gift to you. So this is a second mindset shift that you have. Forgiveness is not about letting somebody else off the hook. It is about letting go of the bricks. You don't have to drag them around with you. And then the third thing about forgiveness that I want you to really hold on to from a mindset perspective is this. Forgiveness is also about compassion for yourself. Some of the biggest piles of bricks that we carry around are the disappointments we have in ourselves that we are unwilling to release. Excuse me. So, compassion for yourself. You are human. You are allowed to make mistakes. You're not going to be perfect. All of those conversations in the back of your head about you not being good enough, about you making mistakes and shame on you, all of that shame you feel, a lot of that requires you to have some compassion for yourself. Allow yourself to be human in this moment. Tell yourself it is okay. I made a mistake. I can own that. I made that mistake. I can move past that. That mistake does not define me. That is the compassion for yourself. So, those three things, those are the lessons this week around forgiveness. Now, we're going to keep talking about forgiveness next week. We're going to look at forgiveness inside of our teams and practices that we can have for forgiveness inside of that group setting. But right now, this week, just work on you. You are important enough. You are valuable enough. You deserve forgiveness both from yourself to yourself, and releasing all of those heavy loads and letting go of all of that's clogging up your mind of trying to imagine circumstances and expectations differently than how they really played out. Whatever happened happened, and it's okay. It doesn't have to hold you back anymore. I hope you have a wonderful week practicing forgiveness. This is something we all have to be reminded of. Let me know your thoughts about these ideas about resetting your mind, and what questions do you have? And I encourage you to go read the work of Dr. Fred Luskin, Luskin, and his wonderful teachings about forgiveness. I'll see you back here next week. We'll talk more about forgiveness then. Until then, have a wonderful and exceptional and exciting and forgiving week.